Interim results of the Operation Summer Dismemberment. At the beginning of June, the liberation operation of the Ukrainian forces started, which had no definite name and the plan of which at first was not clear until the end. A rapid breakthrough. A diversionary strike with concentration on another direction. June itself showed that in addition to the task of pushing the supply strip with small forces, an important point in the idea was the exhaustion and exsanguination of the enemy. And the record June in a number of losses was a direct confirmation of this. But a month and a half has passed, and what can be summarized? For a month and a half of active fighting, the Russian occupants lost almost 29,000 fighters. At the same time, the June figure of 20,500 is the fourth for the entire period of full-scale war. The figures were higher only for January to February and March, when manic storms of Bakhmut were carried out by crowds of convicts. 298 tanks were destroyed. Not the highest figure, which is explained by the fact that tanks are now mostly on the second line of defense, and in the supply line there are not so many of them to set records of burning. On the other hand, the result as for the average is quite decent. In a month and a half Russia lost 541 armored fighting vehicles. Some may say that it is not much, because in March 2022 the occupants lost 889 units, but that was in March 2022. Now the Russians have a serious problem with compensation of losses, in particular armored fighting vehicles, as well as a shortage of medium and light armored vehicles in the units. Artillery. The absolute record of destroyed Russian artillery in June and the stable dynamics of destroyed barrels in July showed a staggering total of 989 pieces. Similarly, and MLRS, 105 units. At the same time, records in these categories in July are not excluded. I have explained why this happens more than once, but the main message is the deterioration of the quality of Russian artillery, counter-battery warfare and the use of MLRS extremely close to the battle line, which makes them a target not only for Ukrainian artillery, but also for various kinds of drones. The number of air defense systems destroyed in a month and a half was 92. This is the highest rate of air defense destruction, both in terms of numbers and dynamics. But most importantly, the air defense assets are among the most problematic to compensate, which undermines the effectiveness of the entire system. Statistics on aircraft, 2, and attack helicopters, 12, are not very encouraging, which is understandable. The enemy mainly uses airplanes for dropping corrective bombs outside the range of Ukrainian air defense and operating mobile groups with manpads. And since the June downfall of helicopters, they have been used more cautiously. Drones, 676. It should be understood that this is a total of all drones that are shot down, starting from Shahed 136 kamikaze drones and ending with all and 10 reconnaissance drones. The figure is high, but it includes drones shot down in the rear. Vehicles, 797. The activation of enemy logistics has led to an increase in vehicular casualties. Especially now they are trying to switch to warehouses on wheels, after regular destruction of ammunition depots. The record of March 2022 cannot be surpassed yet, but everything is still ahead. The high rate of losses of special vehicles is 206, which is also explained by the need to use them as part of the intensification of hostilities and their appearance in extreme areas of the battle line. Thus, we see a picture of steadily and systematically increasing losses of the occupants, encountering not even the main strike group of the Ukrainian defense forces. That is, the essence is what I was talking about at the very beginning, the exhaustion and exsanguination of the enemy with smaller forces. And tell me, what else to call this operation, if not summer dismemberment of the Second Army in the world by the 15th Army? I look forward to your options in the comments.